Okay, let's make some scatter plots. Scatter plots can be difficult or easy depending on how your data are laid out. In the case of this kindergarten data set, the data is laid out just the way we want, which makes the scatter plot really easy for us. So what I do first is I highlight the two columns of data, and they need to be right next to each other. If for some reason the data that you want in the scatter plot are not next to each other, you'll need to cut and paste the data so that you've got them next to each other. So here I go, I've got this. Now I've clicked on Insert in my ribbon up here, and I'm going to click on this little chart right here. It's a scatter plot, just a very simple scatter plot here. And then, of course, I need to give it a title, very important. Scatter plot of, and I want to make sure I remember, homeschool. Okay, and when I click enter, that will be here. I need to label my axes, and so I'm going to click on axes titles. It's very important that I know which one is the pretest and the post-test. And right now, I'm not exactly sure which one is, so I'm going to move my scatter plot over here a little bit. And I'm going to look for a data point that might give me a clue. For example, let's see up here. This is a 31 column 44. Okay, and here, do you see right here? That data point is right here. The 31 is on my x-axis here, which means my pretest is my x-axis. Whoops. And then the 44 was on my y-axis, so that's my post-test. There's not necessarily a right or a wrong way to choose which test goes on which axis. I do like having the pretest on the x-axis. Usually the x-axis is the thing that comes before and the y-axis is the thing that comes after. So that makes sense to me. Now there's my scatter plot of homeschool. I would like to try to do a comparator scatter plot of half-day kindergarten. So here I've highlighted my half-day numbers. I'm clicking on scatter plot again. Here we go. Here's my half-day. And once again, I need to make sure now I know that my pretest is on my x-axis and my post-test is on my y-axis. So these two are kind of interesting side by side. I see that I have a cloud here and then a few scores that started off high and tended to get even higher. Whereas here I have all sorts of scores that were low, but by the end of the school year, they all tended to have higher post-tests. So interesting stuff.